Alrighty, I think we are live. Sorry for the delay in getting on today. Had some technical difficulties. I don't do lives often, so appreciate you sticking around if you are here live. Due to technical difficulties, I'm just going to be sharing my screen today, and we'll hopefully get that fixed for the next live, and I'll be able to connect to you face to face. So thank you so much for joining me today. This is the fourth summer of the Catholic Teacher Summer Series. And today we're going to be talking about meaningful service projects for students and how to add those into your classroom routine. So if you are here live, I'd love for you to just drop in the chat where you're joining from or what grade you teach, and we'll go ahead and get started. Here's just a little agenda of what we're going to be working on today. So I'll have a little introduction about who I am and why I do this. And then we're going to be talking about why service project, what's so important about them. We're going to be talking about ideas and ties to the faith and how we can bridge what we're doing in our service to our Catholic faith. And then I'm going to be introducing you to something new I'm doing this upcoming year called Seton Scholars Lite. So a little introduction about me. I'm a full-time fourth grade teacher, and I teach fourth grade in Chicago, and also kind of the religion coordinator, unofficial title, but help plan masses weekly and prayer services and kind of anything to do with our faith I help out with. I'm a University of Dayton grad and a Loyola University Chicago graduate as well for grad school. I'm a Nat Geo certified educator. In the 2017 Iditarod Teacher on the Trail. So along with the whole faith aspect, I love teaching about nature and the great outdoors. Living in Chicago, I'm an avid Chicago Cubs fan. My school is actually right down the street from Wrigley Field. And I love running and hiking in national parks. And I'm married to a fellow Catholic school teacher. And we have a dog, Tipperary, who is in the room with me. So if you hear any barking, it's him. And Tip is also a Catholic school worker. He is a therapy dog at my husband's school. So that's a little introduction of who I am. And now we're going to dive into some content. So why service projects? Service projects are such a wonderful way for students to really engage with their faith. And I came up with three kind of key ways of why, or key components, like why do we need to do these? What is so important about service projects and building them into what we do in the classroom? And so the first thing is all about community. If we're out in the community, we're going to connect with the people there. And so we're building connections both within our church community, but also in that greater community of the area that you live in. So it might not be people that are tied to your church or your school. And the more we can kind of bridge that gap or bring people together, the more community building will happen. The second one I chose was social awareness. I think sometimes we can get caught up in our parish bubble or our school bubble. And I think the service projects can really kind of open our students' eyes and even ours to what's going on in our greater community. You know, are there people that are experiencing homelessness? How can we help them? Are we connected to a community in another country, and how are we helping them? And you know, it's not just praying for them, but are we really meeting their needs and opening our students' eyes to those injustices? And then the last one, bringing about the kingdom of God. Like, that's what we're doing in our schools. And so to answer that call and be with our students in doing the service through our actions, we are going to spread the kingdom of God, and we are going to spread that love and that joy of our faith with others. And so for me, those are the three main reasons of why are we doing these service projects. So when is a good time to add in these service projects? Advent and Lent, very kind of standard times to add them in. So in Advent, the weeks leading up to Christmas, plan a class or school-wide project. Lent, a lot of giving back to your community. And how can you do that in making time for Christ in your students' lives? Catholic Schools Week is also a great time to give back to different organizations. My school, during Catholic Schools Week, one of the days we have our students in 2nd through 8th grade out in the community doing service. And so it's a really awesome day. And then our K1 students actually made cards for different groups within Chicago that kind of help our city run. And so showing them at a young age that, giving thanks is great, but then also as they get older, things to look forward to and getting out in the community. And then the last one is something I've kind of tagged Fourth Friday Fellowship. And it's something that I do as part of Seton Scholars, which is my teacher membership. I'll talk a little bit at the end. But each month members are given a new fellowship service project that they can complete with their students. And usually there's little to no cost to them, because I know as teachers, sometimes we have these really awesome ideas, but we're like, how can we implement this without, asking parents for more money or spending our own money? And so with the Fourth Friday Fellowship, I really try to give you a concrete idea that you can do with your students that isn't going to cost anything, or there's very little cost to it. So I'm going to give us an example of that towards the end. So those are a few different ways to add them in. And then where to host them, whether you're going in school or out of school. So in school, I feel like typically can be a little bit more low budget. You can ask parents to be there to help with whatever it might be. We're out of school, you're probably taking a bus, it's a little more expensive, but it's that ability to take your students out of school, remove themselves from the school setting and get them out in the community so that they can experience and work with others. Team building and all that comes from the out of school field trips, I feel. And so then I have, this was one that I did with my students. And I'll talk more about different ideas. We created lunch for people who were experiencing homelessness, particularly this was at our Christmas party. And I love that we were able to, our Christmas party is full of games and crafts and all that stuff. But these last few years, I also wanted to continue to tie it to service. And, that it is Christmas, but it's not all about the presents and whatnot. And it's about giving back to our community. And so we had some parents that collected money and were able to get, we made sandwiches, water, chips, some fruit bars, granola bars, and then hand warmers because we are in Chicago, so it's a little bit chilly in the winter time. And so then my students each brought a lunch home with them, in which an email went to parents explaining what we were doing, and that the families then went out and gave the lunches to someone that they saw that was experiencing homelessness. And so a very powerful project that, we're taking a little bit of time from our Christmas party, but making an impact on our community. And so that was one that my students had done. Another one, we love going to Feed My Starving Children. We pair our 4th and our 8th graders and pack food for kids in other countries that are experiencing food insecurity. This is another one of just the food that we are packing for them. And they do a great job there of making it into kind of a race of which table can package as much, the most food. And so a very powerful experience. And so now I'm just going to take a moment. I'm going to go through a bunch of different service projects and how to tie them to our faith. And so where you can kind of take what you're doing, what your curriculum is, what you're teaching your students, and tying it into a service project. And so I just talked about Feeding My Starving Children. There are a couple locations across the country, depending on where you're at. And it's a really awesome project that you take kids off campus. They explain what they're doing, where their food is going, what they're packaging. and a really great one. A lot of parent participation is needed for that one. You do need, depending on your age range, do need a lot of parents there, but it is an awesome one that I've probably done 8 or 9 times with my students now. Cradles to Crayons also has a couple different locations where kids are sorting different toys and clothes for families in need, and we usually send our 2nd graders there, so you know, you're still having your 7 and 8-year-old students doing service, which is awesome. You could do collect food for a local food pantry. We did that this past year, and we could walk to the food pantry, and so we collected food. They drove it over, but then our students got to go sort it and kind of see how the whole process works at the food pantry. And an idea that I've seen but haven't done is when it comes to collecting food, there's been schools that collect cereal boxes. And so they're collecting the food for a community in need. And then they put all the boxes throughout the school, and they make like a domino run of them. So the kids get really excited. So I thought that was a cute idea. You can volunteer. I think it's usually 10 years old and up for Special Olympics, which is a really powerful and awesome organization. You can make hygiene kits for those that are experiencing homelessness. We always give them, we create hygiene kits and donate them to an organization that then passes them out to those in need. Like I mentioned earlier, we make lunches for people who are experiencing homelessness or food insecurity. You can do a park, beach, or river cleanup, and tying that to God's creation and Earth Day. One that my students brought to me is something called Love Our Elders, and it's simply making cards for elderly people. And so that's a really cool site that you can be anywhere in the country and do. You could do a pajama drive, a toy drive. I know toy drives are really popular for like a children's hospital. You could visit a nursing home. We've done that in the past, where we walk over to the nursing home, the kids sing songs, and then they bring books and games and hang out with those that live in the nursing home. And then another one that's come to, that someone mentioned was the Ronald McDonald House. And so sometimes you can collect like the tops, the pop tops for them, or if you have older students, you can go and clean the Ronald McDonald House houses, which are for families that have children that are at in the hospital, and so it's kind of like a long-term housing plan for families that might be have a child in a hospital for a couple weeks. So those are all over the country as well, and I think some still have where you can like bring meals to the houses, so the families don't have to worry about that as well. And then the different ways you can tie to our faith. You know, if you're talking about the Beatitudes, the spiritual and corporal works of mercy can tie, you know, you can find a tie for all of these. God's creation, you know, Earth Day that we celebrate in April. You can tie some of these to Grandparents' Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, Lent and Easter and Advent and Christmas. You can connect them to your saints. Maybe you have a saint from your area and you can visit maybe their shrine or the church named after them and do service there. And you can also tie these to vocations, talking about, you know, vocation is not just becoming a sister, a deacon, a priest, but really what is our vocation? What is God calling us to do in our faith? And it, you know, can be any of these of helping others and being of service. And so I'd love for in the chat if you could write a service guide. What's something you've either done with your students that's been really successful, or something that maybe popped into your mind, but just share something in the comments so others can, you know, grab ideas of what they might be able to do with their students. And I'm going to see if I can jump over and see any of the comments. And I see some 3rd and 4th grade teachers have joined us. Awesome. Love that. Not sure I can see all the comments, but I'll come back and check those out in a little bit. But if you have any that you've enjoyed, be sure to pop them into the comments. And if you're looking for things that are already done for you, I want to talk just a moment about Seton Scholars Lite, which is the new kind of tier of my Seton Scholars teacher membership. And I mentioned it earlier that I had something called Fourth Friday Fellowship. And that's something that's included in the Lite version of Seton Scholars. And it'll give you a concrete idea that you can do with your students every single month. And so you're constantly doing service, but you don't have to recreate the reel and think of it every month. And so what Seton Scholars Lite is all about, it's about saving you time, it's building community, it's faith-based activities, and every month you'll get an exclusive resource. And so every month with Seton Scholars Lite, you're going to get 5 resources, and all of them are tied to the month. So this is the June resources that you would get if you joined today. And so you get the exclusive resource and then 4 other resources that are that would go well with the month of June. And you have the resources available to you for the whole month. You can download them and keep them for life after you've downloaded them. You won't have access to them after, so you have to download them during that month that you're in it. But it also includes an exclusive resource every single month. So this is from a different month, but it's a resource that's only part of the membership. It's the only place that you can find it, either in Seton Scholars Lite or the full membership, which if I will share in the links the full membership if you're interested in that. And then you'll also get the Fourth Friday Fellowship. And so this one was about cleaning up trash in the neighborhood, and whether it was going around as a class or going around with your family, but taking time as the temperatures cool off to talk with your students about God's creation and how things change and we need to care for them. And so every month you'll have a concrete thing. Again, I try to keep it low cost or free for you to do. And so that will be included every single month as well in the Seton Scholars Lite version. And so Seton Scholars Lite is only $8 per month. You'll get at least $15 worth of resources. All the resources besides the exclusive are things that are already in my store, my TPT store. But I'd love to have you join. Today's the kickoff day. And so you can scan that QR code there, or you can go to the bit.ly, which is Seton Scholars Lite. I'll drop the links in the comments when I wrap up here. But thank you so much for joining me today on our, it's the 4th year I've been doing the Catholic Teacher Summer Series. So I'm so glad to have you join us again. If you want to connect, be sure to find me on Instagram and Facebook at Adventures of a Fourth Grade Classroom. If you want to connect with me via email, it's Annie at adventuresofafourthgradeclassroom.com. And if you haven't already, please join our Catholic Teacher Facebook group. I think we're over 2,000 people in the group now. It's awesome. Teachers just helping each other and asking questions about teaching in Catholic schools and how to help and support one another. So that's also at the bit.ly Catholic Teacher FB for Facebook, or you can scan the QR code at the bottom. I'll also link the group in the comments when we wrap up here. But thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that you were able to take something away and spark an idea that you can use with your classroom and your students this next school year. And if you have any questions about anything I talked about today, feel free to reach out. Thanks so much and have a wonderful week. I will see you in 2 weeks for the next edition of the Catholic Teacher Summer Series. Next week I'll be out of town, and then we have 3 more after that, starting I think on the 1st of July. So I will see you then. Have a wonderful rest of your day.